Remember when we said we'd stay together now until forever? Just us, just us. Said we wouldn't be like all.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jessica Hickson, and I spent 5 years working my way up to the top of an MLM before realizing they're just not all that they're cracked up to be. My goal with this channel is to rescue some Huns, to prevent some from becoming Huns, and to also give those a voice who have left the Hunbot industry, like myself.
It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling.
Today's small business shout out goes to Rebecca Virginia DIY, and she actually sent me some of the cutest stuff. I had to go buy a straw for this one because I wanted to use it in my video today. But how adorable is this? So it's just like a glass jar with a bamboo lid, and then I just put a metal straw in it. Super adorable. She also sent me some of her stickers that she makes, and Lord have mercy, am I obsessed. She must have known that I needed these words. This one says, "You are enough." This one says, "I am enough." And look at that graphic. How adorable. Be kind to your mind. Don't overthink it. That's precisely what my brain looks like at any given moment. Overthinking things forever. And this one also says, if it will focus, be kind to your mind. My nails are probably disgusting because we spent all weekend laying sod, so I'm sorry if you see that. Rebecca also has a YouTube channel, and I checked it out before getting on here, and it is awesome. She does different DIY projects from like the dollar store and stuff like that, just ones that you can do at home too. It's called Rebecca Virginia DIY. Of course, I will link it in the description below, but if that kind of stuff interests you like it does me, then definitely go check it out. I will be subscribing as well. Today's member shout out goes to Amanda Worley. Thank you so much, Amanda, for all of your support. And to all of my channel members, thank you guys so much. If you're not a channel member but you'd like to become one and receive access to some exclusive perks, click the join button down below, or there should be a link to it in the description as well. That's all the shout outs I have for today. That's all the shout outs I have for you guys today, so let's go ahead and get on with today's video. All right, you guys, first things first, I'm not wearing makeup today. All I have on is some eyebrows. Well, I'm not wearing eyebrows. I did my eyebrows and put mascara on, but other than that, I have no makeup on because I'm sure you guys saw on Instagram, but I got the worst sunburn on my nose this weekend. Hi, I'm dumb, and I didn't put sunscreen on when I was working out in the yard for like 8 hours straight, and my nose got so bad to where it had 2 huge blisters on it. So I want to try to keep from putting any makeup on my blisters just because I don't want them to get infected, and also it looks kind of janky sometimes if you put makeup over stuff like that. So we're just getting raw face Jessica today. I know you guys love me in all of my glory though, so I know you guys are not judging me. Second thing, I picked up this awesome sweatshirt at Target. Do I listen to AC/DC on the regular? No, not unless my kids request it. But I thought it was absolutely adorable, and it was like $5.49. And you know your girl needs some clothes that fit her these days. So I went and got a bunch of like oversized t-shirts and sweatshirts from Target that were on the clearance section, and I picked up this one. You guys will probably see more in the upcoming videos. The next thing I want to mention is the fact that you guys are probably realizing by now that this video is up later than usual, and my videos in the last week were up later than usual, and that's because my editor couldn't edit for the last 2 to 3 weeks of last month. And then Graham was out of school. He's done with school now, so he's been home. So I haven't been able to get a lot done, but my editor is back at it this month starting in June. So I should be getting back on track, and I'm trying to get as much film today as possible so that I'm still able to push out content for you guys. But if they're behind, then that's why. I know you guys understand, and I don't need to explain myself, but I also feel like I do owe you guys an explanation because I did promise you guys 2 videos a week, but that's the situation I'm in right now. So if you're wondering where my videos are, it's probably just because I'm behind. But hopefully I'll still be able to get up to this week, and I'll be back on track since my editor will be back in in commission working, I don't know, next week. Anyways, I have a really exciting video coming up, but there's a lot of prep work that goes into it. There's a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of stuff going down at It Works nowadays, like a lot. I need to iron out a few more details, so be looking for that either later this week or early next week. I have the inside scoop. And I mean like the inside scoop. Like I have access to a certain top leader's we'll leave it at that. I have the inside scoop. Anyways, Preacher's Wife Girl has posted a lot of very interesting videos lately. And so today we're going to dive into a couple of those. I know for sure we're going to dive into one. The other one may be a part 2, as always. But there are definitely 2 that I want to dive into today. So let's go ahead and just jump right into them. This is a girl that... one of the few that has stuck around still. A lot of people are leaving It Works allegedly. That may or may not be part of what we're going to talk about in that upcoming video. But for today, let's go ahead and jump into Preacher's Wife. Let's not jump into her. We don't do the whole pouring into thing, but let's listen to one of her videos together. Okay, so this first video is titled When to Let Go of Someone in Business. So let's take a look.
Hey everybody, what is up? Here, happy Thursday. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day. I want to come and bring you some value today. How do you know when to let go of someone in business? I get this question often. It's like so echoey here. Close that a little bit. I get this question off. Oh, now I'm going to be all dark. Okay, well, we're just going to have to deal with an echo. It's fine. I get this question often, like, how do you know if you have the same people over and over and over? If you've got those people that kind of like show up, they do a little bit, they don't do a lot. How do you know when to let go, when to move on? How do you know when you've done enough as a leader and like you're not going to be considered a jerk? Okay, can I get an amen for that? But how do you know like you're not wasting your time? Because the reality is at any moment, anyone can turn on. So today I want to break down some things that you can do, some things that you can implement. So as you're hopping on, make sure you say hello if you're watching the replay as always. You can hashtag, hey Snack, hey. Let me know how you're doing. Don't be rude, okay? Don't be rude. No PPs on here, no PP times. Hey Carrie, hey Haley, hey Jamie, how are you? Oh my gosh, so excited. Tonight we have something for our daughter at her school, and she informed me this morning that I don't need to get fancy. I was like, hold up, wait a second. Like, you think I just be walking out in like heels and a dress every day? She's like, Mom, it's okay. You don't have to get all dressed up. You don't have to get all fancy. I love it. Kids are so funny. So this question can come up quite a bit. How long have you been in an online business? As you're hopping on, I see all of you. I want you to go ahead and drop that. Yes, thank you, Sam. Love you. If you find any value, I want you to share this. I'm going to draw a winner tomorrow of someone who shared my Facebook Lives to give a free coaching call. I'm really excited about that. Thank you for helping me with that. Facebook has me under a warning. I don't really know why, but I
have an idea why, sister. Maybe possibly because you're spreading false information all day, every day. I don't know. Ignorance is bliss, though, isn't it?
Do what we can do. So I forgot what question I just asked. Oh, how long have you been in an online business? Go ahead and drop that in the comments below as well, okay? Because at any length of time, if you've got at least one business partner, if you've got multiple business partners, at some point you're going to ask yourself this question. When is enough enough? Like, when do I move on? When do I keep doing the same old, same old? I'm tagging people. They don't respond to me. I'm messaging this person. They're not getting back to me. At what point is enough enough? At what point am I wasting my energy investing in people? Because we know that matters. Drop a yes below if you know that matters. Like, and when you're in an online business, when you're a manager in leadership, when you oversee people, you have an obligation, duty, and responsibility to develop people. That is like a non-negotiable. That's just part of the job.
But these people are all business owners, right? So they don't have a manager. They don't have anyone in a leadership position above them because they're their own boss. So you don't have an obligation to anyone. My theory is if they don't respond one time, that means they don't give a shit. So stop contacting them. There's no contact them 8 times before they'll respond. Like, no, that's harassment.
That's part of influence. That's part of impact. That's part of creating more money. If you want more money, you need to learn how to sell yourself and you have to learn how to lead other people. Those are like non-negotiables.
Oh, you mean like a recruitment-based business? Got it.
So, you're investing time in people, but at the same point, it's easy to be like, okay, they're not getting it. Let me move on to the next. And I can tell you right now, I've seen it on both sides. I've seen people that have stayed committed way too long. They're dragging the dead bodies. And you want to know how?
Is it just me, or is that a totally morbid way to put it? When we would talk about needing new distributors, we would talk about it and say that we needed new blood, which I've already told you guys is just so creepy to me. But for her to then say, like, are you dragging dead bodies? That just seems so wrong. Like, you're not even seeing them as people anymore. You're seeing them as like dead bodies if they're not benefiting your paycheck. It's gross.
You can know if you're dragging the dead bodies. Go open up your chat, your conversation with that person. Have you messaged them 3, 4, 5 times in a row over the course of a week and they've never responded to you, but yet you keep messaging them? It's like, hey, did you get that tag? Hey, here's something for your Facebook. Hey, here's a podcast. They've never even acknowledged your existence. And sometimes we do that because we're on autopilot. We're just like, oh, I've got an idea. Let me drop it in all these chats, right? So sometimes that's on you. That's on me. That's on the leader, because they're just dishing out information and they're not even being a human, right? That's a whole nother conversation. But sometimes we're hoping that it like revives people. So that's a really good way. Are you communicating? Are you holding on too long? Are you investing? And I'm not saying that you ever drop people. That's like, but it is important at some point you have a conversation like, hey girl, I've noticed that I feel like I'm talking to you, but like you're not talking to me back. I just had that conversation with someone the other day, and let me tell you right now, can I be dead honest? Do you know how rude it is for someone to open up a conversation with you and not acknowledge? That is so rude. Like, you guys have to understand social media. Like, we've moved in such a social media realm.
Man, this is why I have, let's see, how many? I don't even know how to, okay. 330 unread text messages, because text messages overwhelm me. And if I open it, I feel like people think that way. That people think if I open their text message and I don't respond to it, then I'm being rude. I don't have my read even on, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, if I don't open it, then that notification stays there. And then someday I'm going to respond to those text messages. Here we are, 330 text messages later, and I've not responded to them. They just keep building up. At one point, I had over like 200,000 emails before Chad went in and cleaned them out for me. But people like that who think it's so rude of you to not respond after you've opened a message. Like, how do you know that they're not going through something? Like, I can't fucking stand that. My best friends are the ones who like, they know that my mind is just not right the majority of the time these days. So they don't hold it against me if I respond to their text message days later. And of course, if it's something like important or they're feeling like I'm not valuing our friendship because I'm not responding, then that's a little bit different. But if it's just like small talk or whatever, my friends do not hold it against me that I can't respond right away. And the same goes the other way around. Like, I understand that my friends have lives outside of our friendship. My friends, when I have conversations with them, whether I respond a day later or 10 days later, we pick up the conversation right where it was at, and it's no problem. They don't take it personal because people don't know what's going on in your everyday life. It's annoying that she's like so entitled to people's time if they open her message. Like,
do you know how rude it is to not respond to someone after you've opened their message?
No, because nobody owes you anything.
That if someone walked up to you in a grocery store and said hi, would you look them dead in the face and then walk away? That is the equivalent of stuff like you opening up a chat or a conversation and not acknowledging someone. It is so.
If that person was wearing a shirt that had some type of MLM on it, yes, I would probably do exactly that. Because everyone who's in an MLM, let me rewind, take that back. The majority of people who are in an MLM and contact you on social media look at me like so talking with my hands today, contact you solely for the purpose of extending that conversation to lead into something that would have to do with
The business.
so that they can either try to recruit you or try to sell you something. So it's not equivalent if you're in an MLM. There's an exception.
So rude. And I know your heart. Like, people's hearts are not to be rude. Like, you really have to be a special kind of douchebag to intentionally want to do that. But it does come across so rude. And go ahead and drop a yes if you agree with me on that. And I'm not saying I'm above that. I'm not saying I haven't done it. I've opened up a conversation that I couldn't respond in. But I even think it's important then. And there's a lot of people that I know that are like, oh, well, I was driving. Why are you on your mother trucking phone when you're driving? Oh, well, I was at work. Why are you on your phone when you're at work? If you...
Yeah, these are the same people that encourage others while they're working their full-time job to send messages or to take a bathroom break and update a status. Like, these are the same people that are encouraging those things so they can quit their 9 to 5. But because it makes her look good, she's going to be like, why are you even doing that?
Can't respond, don't open. Period. Like, this isn't difficult, okay? If you can't, what are you gonna do? Your phone rings when you're at work, you're gonna pick it up and not say hello, but you like, oh, I'm that nosy. Nosiness kind of comes off as rude. We all kind of know in this day and age. I mean,
are we serious? Are we really making this a deal, right? Like, we're making this an issue right now? Like, if people want to open up their messages because they're nosy, even though they know they can't respond, what if they want to open up the message to make sure that it's not something important that needs a response right away? Lord have mercy.
and I'm like going off on a tangent. We all know in this day and age, if you were to write something in all caps, you're either yelling or you're like amplifying the message, right? Like we've all gotten that. So there's a value in the sense where if you're opening up conversations and you're just stalking or you're reading or you're not engaging, that is extremely rude. In fact, I had a group chat of some up and coming leaders that I have, and I put them all in a group chat, and I was very clear. Hey, if you don't want to be here, remove yourself. And if you don't actively engage in this chat, I will remove you. So, you know, it's free game. But I'm very clear. Like, I don't have time to waste with someone who needs to...
I am so annoyed at these leaders who think they are celebrity status, yet in the real world, they would be nobody. Nobody knows who you are in the real world. You're just one of the rest of us. But in It Works, this girl's a celebrity, so she feels like she has the right to be like,
I will remove you from this group chat if you are not participating.
because she knows people respect her so much and look up to her so much, like she's a celebrity, so people are going to engage in the conversation just for the sole purpose of not getting canceled by her. Oh.
Think about, y'all get what I'm saying? Anyways, so my point is I've seen a lot of people hold on to people for a really long time, but they're not cognizant, whether that's their own ignorance because they're just copying and pasting and dropping it in all their chats, and the leader isn't even present in the chat. Like, you go open up the chat, bro, it's been 10 days since this person's responded to you, but you're so just like, hey, how you doing, in all your chats, and then you copy and paste it to all your chats, and you don't even look at the responses. And then the next day, you're like, oh, here's something you can do. Oh, here's something you can listen to. Oh, here's something you can do. And they haven't even talked to you in 10 days. So who really has the issue now? I dare say it's the leader, right? Anyways, so that's part of it, is people hold on too long. And if you're getting any value, you need to tag your leaders in this, okay? But then I've also seen where people jump off and they end the relationship too soon. How long did it take for you to turn on in the business? Let me ask this. How long did it take for you to turn on? You see, I joined. Tuesday will be my 6-year anniversary. I didn't turn on until month 8. Now, I accomplished some stuff. I used my charisma. Okay, I was present all 7 months. I worked all 7 months. I showed up to everything I could all 7 months. But I didn't make a decision to go all in until month 8. So when was that deciding factor for you? Was it the day you joined? Highly doubtful. Was it month 8 like me? Was it
It was the day I joined for me. The day I joined. And when I mean the moment I joined, I started mass messaging every single person on my friends list. I'm sorry if that's you. I love you so much. Thank you for still sticking around. Yeah, it was the first day for me. So shut up, lady.
year? Are you still like, I don't really even know if I made a decision to go all in, which is fine. We have to talk about that, okay? The problem is, when you give up on people, it's gonna be so good. When you give up on people, too soon because they join and they don't do what you think they're supposed to do in the first 10 days, in the first 3 weeks, in the first 30 days. Do you know how many high achieving women missed their 30-day goal in my organization that ended up making 5 figures? Okay. Now, I'm not saying that that I don't do this. Okay. I come to y'all from the valley. But what I am saying is that there's a lot of times that we have this expectation because we're so self-focused. We're only focused on what we want. So when we lead out of a desire of self-centeredness.
Okay, hold on a second, lady. So she's saying that the reason people fall short is because they're so self-focused. They're being selfish. They're leading from a place of self-centeredness. Note how every single live video that she does, how many times she mentions,
Now make sure you share this with somebody if you think somebody will find value in this. Make sure you tag your leaders in this if this is something that your leaders need to hear.
she doesn't have a southern accent, but you know, that's just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But how many times she self-promotes in every single live video she does? Because her goal is to get more people to her page, to build her following. Self-centered, if you ask me.
We're using people, and if they don't want to play our game, can I get an amen? We're quick to dismiss them. We're quick to disqualify them. We're quick to label them as they don't want it. They don't take this serious. Y'all, they haven't even been in the business for a month. And some of y'all act like this, okay? Again, there was a time when I did this too. I am definitely a lot better than that now, but
Do y'all remember the video I did where she talks about how she totally had to delete these people out of her team page because they weren't playing the game that she wanted them to play, essentially? She's such a hypocrite. Such a hypocrite.
I know a lot of people that still operate this way today. You know, you do all this work to recruit someone, and then you're not even leading them effectively. And here's the deal, like, it took me until month 8, and I'm so grateful. My enroller is no longer a part of the company, but I am so grateful that she never showed up with an expectation over me. She went the way, she led the way, she showed the way, and she just let me catch the vision and run. She never expected anything out of me. She never pressured me to do anything, but it took me until month 8 to turn on. And so a lot of times we're either holding on too tightly and we have no social awareness of what's actually happening in other people's lives. We're just like, oh, we're like ignorance on fire, which is not healthy. Okay, let's stop in this industry.
How can you be so contradicting in one video? Like,
We have no social awareness about what's going on in people's lives, but if you're not responding to my message right when you open it, how dare you? How rude of you.
but we have no, like, social awareness. Like, what?
Saying that ignorance on fire is healthy. There is a level of healthiness to it, but like everything, it's balance. You know, ignorance on fire, being, oh, I don't know what's in the products. Just give me your credit card. You'll love these. No, babe. Hype without substance? No, we live in a world where people see through that crap. So you gotta have some kind of like foundation, some substance, some wisdom about you nowadays, okay? But I see a lot of people that just, they're so quick to hold on to people, and they're not even aware that these people really don't want it because they lack social awareness. And then I see other people that are so self-driven and so self-focused, which again, let me be the first one to raise my hand. It comes very natural to me. But they're too self-focused to where if you don't want to be, I like it, Michael Jordan said it in his thing, if you don't want to be a pawn in their game of chess, they'll just dismiss you and watch. They're like, fine, you figure it out on your own. I'm not messaging you. Homegirl's been in the business 15 days. She don't even know how to log into her account, and you think she's already worthless to you. And the problem with that mindset is you're throwing away long-term money. I don't know if y'all want some play money.
So the problem with letting people go is not that you're taking an opportunity to earn so much money, for them to earn so much money,
for them to totally change their life.
That's not why you're messing up if you're letting people go. It's because
you're letting go of all the money you could be making off of them.
Or some like retirement. I want long-term money. And so you've got to believe in the best of people. So here's a couple things that I want to challenge you to do. If you find that you're in this position, you've got some people, you don't know if it's time to let them go. And if there's any value, share so I can draw a name to do a free coaching call with next week. I'll draw tomorrow for the call next week. Anyways, so number one, I think it's really important that when you're looking at the people who you have in your organization, whether you have 3 people or you have 300 people, is that you're assessing the way the interaction has been, okay? That could be a group chat, that could be your individual chat. Is this someone that usually always comes to you, or do you always go to them? That is a huge indicator with how serious they are and how much they desire this. Is it you always going to them? I recently recruited someone, and I quickly realized after like a month of them being in, it was just always me messaging them. Like if I didn't message them, literally wouldn't hear from them. They wouldn't ask me nothing. They wouldn't like nothing. They wouldn't say, hey, I missed Team Zoom. Can you tag me in the replay? Hey, what's my focus? What should I be doing? It's funny when people join, they want to talk a big game about how much money they want. But then after they join, it's like witness protection program, baby. They just whoosh, call them motherfucking Casper. Okay.
Do you want to know why that is, sweet thing? It's because you guys make it out to be like something so simple, like all you need is an hour a day kind of thing, and it's not that simple. So they get in and they get into your team page and realize, 1, that they're in a cult and they need to call their dad, and 2, that it's a lot harder than you made it out to be and that it's not attainable. Just helping you out, sister.
Hey, because they just I'm a ghost, okay? I don't know what it is, but you have to be able to take a moment and take a step back and pause and assess. Are these people always coming to you? Which I think is great. I love when people flood my inbox. I love when my business partners are like, what's next? Okay, what's next? Okay, did that, what's next? I love that. I always know who's serious by how much they get my attention. I can't be available to everybody. But one of the benefits the people in my organization have is I squirrel so hard. So if you want my attention, if you're loud enough, promise you're gonna get it. Because I'm just like, I go to the shiny object. I go where the energy is. And if you're like, no, I need you, no, this, like, I need you, like, I'm going to pay attention to that, right? Now, obviously, I'm never gonna rob someone else of leadership. So if you're like way deep in the belly of the whale, like I can't, listen, I can't reach everybody, okay? We're gonna empower the leaders because I value hierarchy. But people know how to get my attention. My leaders know how to get my attention.
Let me translate. Way deep in the belly of the whale means at the bottom of the pyramid.
Okay? And, but it's really important that you're assessing the situation. And here's the deal. You have to learn how to not take things personal. If you take things personal, drop a 1.
Oh, you mean like someone opening your message and not responding to it? That type of personal? Okay.
Okay, drop a 1. Thank you, Alexis. Where are my emotional people at? Where are my thinkers at? I'm telling you, every single one of you better be dropping a 1. Every single one of you take stuff personal. I take stuff personal. You take stuff personal. Like, listen, okay? And I think on some level, you should take things personal. I think when people take things personal and people get pissed off, I think that it has the capacity to really like impact them in a positive way if they know how to use it in a positive way. That's just like being stubborn. A lot of people think stubbornness is like this negative, they put like a negative connotation to it. No, I think stubbornness is a massive, massive asset. When you understand the capacity of it and you utilize it in the right trajectory, it can really change your life and make an impact in your life.
Here's the thing, you guys. I'm weaning off of my ADHD medication temporarily just because I feel like it wasn't doing anything, and it was, if anything, possibly making my anxiety worse. And so I wanted to wean off of it and see if it helped at all. But as a result of that, 1, I'm binge eating like crazy, and 2, I'm so tired. But 3, ADHD, okay? Like, I have no idea what she just talked about for the last like 20 seconds because I was staring at this sticker that says, don't overthink it. And I just have no, like, if you have ADHD, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you can read an entire page of a book word for word and have no idea what you just read when you're done. That's what just happened. I have no clue what she just said. And I'm not going to rewind it to figure it out because it was probably pointless and made no sense. But just had to throw that in there. If I'm like spacing off, like earlier you saw I was playing with my glasses, my sunglasses, put on some essential oils. Like, I'm normally pretty focused for these videos, but I'm weaning off of this medication and I'm on day probably 6 of no dosage at all. So I'm struggling a bit.
But a lot of people take things so personal. So riddle me this. You have some people in your downline and you are taking a step back and you're assessing, okay, they don't want to come to me. Okay, maybe I'm dragging some dead bodies. And now out of nowhere, you're like, well, maybe I just suck and I'm not a good leader and I don't have what it takes. Right? And now you're all of a sudden making this conversation about you. And I think it's really important when you're looking at the people in your downline. Number 1, what is their life dynamic? Are they busy? You know, it's really easy for me to sit back. Me, who has never done an online business while being pregnant, praise the Lord, never gonna happen. We're done. Who has never done an online business while working a full-time job, okay? Done, never going back, I'm unemployable, okay? So it could be easy for me to look at brand new people who are maybe pregnant or working part-time, full-time, and be like, why aren't you showing up? Why don't you oh, you're not taking it serious? Oh, you don't want it like I want it?
But you do that. You do that all the time. You're constantly shaming people for not getting on Zooms when they should be, for not taking their business seriously, for wanting a full-time income but not working it like a full-time job. You're constantly doing that.
Yo, they're busy. Like, are you understanding that not all humans are created equal? Do you have the capacity to comprehend that? That me, who, yes, I have 2 kids. Yes, we live a busy life. But like, I also have a husband that I've been able to like help retire. And now he gets to like help out and be Mr. Mom. And he might not always enjoy that, but like,
subtle flex.
He helps out in that capacity. So like, it's easy for me to show up to things. It's easy for me to be leaned in as much as I want. But have you maybe considered that the leader in your downline is a single mom and doesn't have any help for her and her 3 kids? Have you maybe considered that the corporate woman that's in your downline, it's not that she doesn't want the business, it's that she's so stressed out at her job. Yes, she needs an additional stream of income. That's why she partnered with you. But she's also like managing a huge workload at her job, and she's trying to like in the process of moving. I don't know. I'm just making these scenarios up, but like, how many of y'all are stressed outside of business? You got life, you got relationship, you got kids, you working, you doing this, that, and the other. You got parents you're taking care of. Like, you just trying to figure out what's going on in the world because we all going crazy nowadays. There's so much that could be happening in someone else's life. And if you could just pause long enough, and if you could prioritize the relationship and think about the relationship. I'm not saying that you let people go and you're just like, okay, well, when you want it, I'm here. No, I think it's really important that you connect with them and that you really find out what their intention is. Because we can't be all work and no vision, just like we can't be all vision and no work. Like, you gotta have a plan, you gotta know what you want, but you also have to take action. And action is the thing that's gonna change your life. It's not more belief, it's not learning, it's not showing up to all these things. Those things are amazing. You need that in your but the thing that you need no matter what is action. Action is what changes your life. Action is what moves you out of a rut. Action is what gets you out of depression and anxiety. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, action can go a lot for you. Whether that's action in your food or action in your body or action in work. I don't know, okay?
Or action in getting on the medication that you need. She's one of those people that think, oh, personal development will get you out of a funk, will get you out of a depression, like, will heal your anxiety if you just take action and do personal development. Like, no, some people need medication.
Anyways, but it's really important that have you connected with the person? Do you understand what's happening in their life? Are you being a human first? Because if someone comes to me and they're like, hey, I've got a really heavy workload. In fact, was just talking to someone that's considering joining my team, and she's like, man, I don't know, I work 10 hours a day. Is this something that I can do? And I'm like, oh my gosh, absolutely. Like, I love that you just shared that with me, because now I know if you're working 10 hours a day, don't you think if you understood that as a leader, what was on their plate and what was happening in their world, that you could lead them more effectively?
She's going to pretend like that person that joins and already works 10 hours a day could be successful with very, very slim time, whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Words are hard today, but like a very small amount of time to work their business. She's going to act like they can be successful, but what she's going to ask them to do once they're signed up is to sacrifice their sleep, sacrifice the time with their kids, sacrifice time with their spouse, like give up all of these things that should be so, so important to someone. She's going to ask them to give those things up in order to work the business to only make a very small amount of money that's not going to end up helping that person in the long run.
This is why relationship matters. This is why culture matters. This is why communication matters. If you're just getting people on your team, tagging them in a bunch of posts and hope they get it, you're the one that needs checked. That's not leadership. Leadership isn't just tagging people and then hoping they get it. That's not leadership, okay? But it's really important. So like, now that I know, if I know someone is like a single mom, works a full-time job and has 2 kiddos, how can I show up in a way that helps this business be easier on your life? I'm not trying to make this online business harder. We're not trying to add more to the plate. I'm trying to add more to the plate so I can subtract something from the plate. Can I get an amen? Like, I'm trying to subtract stuff from your life by...
Exactly. She's trying to add a business to the plate. Subtract your family time, subtract your time with your spouse, subtract your sleep, subtract your health goals so that you can add in money and get all those things back.
By the value this business is going to bring. And if I know and I understand what's happening in your world, I can help you show up better. No, I can't help you show up better if you don't want it. I can't help you show up better if you don't meet me halfway. Here's the deal. I will love you at a 10, but I will mother truck and match your energy. Now understand, I've been in this business 6 years. I'm at the top. I've got the capacity to say stuff like that. If you only have a few people on...
What? She is somebody, oh my gosh, she's such a hypocrite. She's somebody that's always like, I am no better than you. I have no advantage over you. Like, I am just little old me. You know, you can do it. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. But then she just said that and was like,
listen, I've been in 6 years. I'm at the top. I have the capacity to say that.
Says who? From what I remember when they announced Top 150, she wasn't even in Top 150. So, like, where you at, sis? Are you at the top?
Underneath you, you might not have the capacity to, you need every little person that you got, okay? I still need every little person that I got too, okay? But it's important that you as a leader, and that's part of being a leader. That's part of being a leader, whether you're making $500, $1,000, that is your job as a leader. If you want to make money off of the people underneath you that you serve, which, newsflash, that is not a pyramid scheme. That is like the most genius thing ever. And it's the exact same way corporate America works as well. The CEO makes more than the VP. The VP makes more than the regionals make more than the district. Why? Because there's more expectations.
We're really going to get into this conversation right now. I know she knows this because she's not dumb, but our issue isn't the fact that it's shaped like this. It isn't the fact that, you know, people are making more money than the others. That's not the issue. We understand how corporate America works. We understand the way that corporate America is shaped. However, one little minor detail that you're leaving out of that explanation is the fact that at the corporate level, or on the corporate whatever, like corporate America, everyone is making money no matter what. The people who are at the bottom, underneath of the president, the VP, the blah, 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 the people at the bottom are still making money. It may not be as much as the people at the top who have a higher expectation and have more responsibilities on their plate. They're not going to be making as much as them, but they're still going to be making a livable income. The problem we have with what you're doing is the fact that there are very few at the top that are making a ton of money, way beyond a livable income, and then everyone else underneath of them is making shit. Most of them not making anything. The vast majority of them not making anything. That's our problem, sis.
More leadership that's required. There's more growth that's required. Okay? It just makes sense. And so if you're in your process of climbing up that ladder and you're wanting to make more and you're wanting to have a bigger team, you need to do more work. Whether you see it reflected in your paycheck now or in your paycheck 30 days down the road, 60 days down the road, a year down the road, that is the price you pay for leadership. And if you can't tell me you want to make $2,000, $10,000, $1,000 and not grow, that is ignorance, and not ignorance on fire. That is stupidity. Okay, you have to grow. I get people on. How much you want to make an online business? $7 grand, 20 grand. Is that what you're making now? No, I make $400 a month. There's a reason why you ain't making 20 grand in corporate America, boo. There's a reason why you ain't making $5 grand in corporate America, boo. Okay, like don't play yourself. You're not gonna. If you can't make that money in corporate America, you're not going to make it here without growth. If it would require growth there, now it's two different kinds of growth. I could never go to corporate America and make the money I'm making now. You know, I ain't that smart and I ain't got the qualifications.
And that's why the majority of these people who are at the top of the pyramid are sticking around instead of leaving, and they're continuing to take advantage of more people because they know damn well that they could not make the money that they're making now without taking advantage of hundreds of thousands of people underneath of them.
But because I chose to grow, because I chose to shift, to change, to elevate myself, I've been able to open up a realm of income that I wasn't able to achieve in corporate America. Amen. Okay. And if you want that, drop a 2 below. But that's going to require you to grow. It's going to require you to cater the business and help your people cater the business to their current lifestyle, depending on where it's at. So it's really important that you're assessing. It's really important that you're not taking things personal. When people don't want to work the business, that is not always, now it can be, I'm gonna get to that part, so let's pop that, let's make sure we real humble, baby. But it's not always a reflection of your leadership or lack thereof. It doesn't mean that you suck. It doesn't mean that you're bad or what you have isn't good. It might mean that they don't understand how to fit the business into their world. It might mean there's something more pressing on their plate. It might mean they haven't caught the vision yet. They borrow your belief, but they haven't borrowed their own belief. And how many of you know, drop a 3 in the comments below, if when you go from borrowing someone else's belief to growing your own belief, baby, that hits different. It hits different, okay? And so it is really important that you are assessing and you're not taking things personal. Now, before I get to the you problem, we're gonna keep assessing them. Do you have someone that's all talk? Let's talk about that side, okay? Because not everybody who says they want it doesn't just have time or have busyness. Some people are full of crap. I like to tell it from all sides, okay? Some people talk a big game. Drop a yes if you've ever had someone in your downline talk a big game, okay? These people exist. They talk a big game. Oh, they're going to show up and they're going to have the biggest, flashiest, loudest vision board at your vision board party. I'm going to pay off 80 grand by this time next year. I'm going to buy me a Rolls Royce cash. They going to have big vision. They going to top big goals. And guess what? If you're not mindful, you see, confidence isn't always loud. Okay, high achieving women understand, like, I don't have to walk in the room and be loud. I'm gonna put my head down and let my results speak for themselves. Amen. And so,
yet somehow she's always the loudest one in the room. Like, she's the one that's yelling constantly. Is she not, you guys? You guys have seen enough of her Zooms on my channel. Like, she's constantly yelling. Why you gotta be so loud?
Confidence isn't always loud. Sometimes confidence is a low roar. All right. And so do you have someone, and this is where you can't just be quick to label. You literally have to do an individual assessment. Is this someone who's just talking game? Okay. And it takes intuition to be able to really diagnose this. Intuition is not you seeing the trend and all the other times and you're matching the trend. That's insight. That ain't intuition. Okay. And so do they need help taking action? Do they talk a big game because they really have desire and they have drive, but they don't have direction? Someone needs to write that down, okay? Do they talk a big game, say it again, because they have desire and they have drive, but they don't have direction? They just need help with direction. I love those people. I take those people all day. Or do they talk a big game because they're uncoachable? There are some people that are uncoachable. There are some people that don't want me to help them. They only want me when they ask for help. That's not coachability. I want you to show up and to let me lead you, whether you want an hour a week or an hour a day. You work in an hour a week, baby. I don't know. You might make a couple $100, but you're not going far. But that's okay. Some people just want a little bit. Okay, that's okay. Shamita, is that how you say your name? That's pretty. Yeah, no, I'm the same. But you got to ask yourself, are these people coachable? Are they really, are they, because I can handle someone that has no direction if they have drive and desire and they're leaned in, they're asking questions. But if they're not leaned in and asking questions, but they say they want it, but they're like, no, I'm going to figure it out my way. One of my mentors yesterday, oh my God, I was dying on his podcast. He was like, when you walk into my facility and you get a job in my building, this isn't Burger King. You can't have it your way. This is Andy King. You're going to do it my way.
But they're their own bosses, so they can do it their way, right? Or no?
And I was like cackling. It was so good. But you know, does the person underneath you, do they just jump from thing to thing to thing? I know people that are like that. They're so emotional. They're so low functioning blue. The moment they don't feel it, they're checked out. They're on to the next thing. They go from like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be at the top of the company, and they have all these dreams. And they're like, no, I'm going to go start a podcast. And they have all these, no, I'm going to go be a speaker. No, I'm going to go learn how to play this instrument. No, I'm going to go start this organization. No, I'm going to go. And every time their little feelings get hurt, every time they can't cross a finish line, they get so in their emotions, okay? That's a low functioning person. You can't take that stuff personal. You can't take that personal, because whether they do this in your organization or they do it in the next person's organization, that's who they are. That's not a reflection of you. That is a reflection of them and their inability to manage their emotions accordingly.
For her to make these assumptions is so wild. Like, because someone leaves the MLM, it means that they're like emotionally unstable. They can't handle their own emotions. Couldn't quite possibly be that the business structure is set up to fail, you silly geese.
Because if you can't push through, and I'm not talking about like whatever it is they're facing, okay? Whatever it is they have in their hands. If you can't push through and develop through that, They create habits of jumping from thing to thing because they're so addicted to their emotions. They're addicted to that honeymoon phase where it feels real good, right? And so they're going to keep...
Maybe they have ADD, like your girl. Because I jump from thing to thing, like hobby to hobby, and I go all in when I jump from hobby to hobby, and I perfect that hobby, and I become good at it, and I love it, and I spend all of my spare time doing that hobby for like 2 weeks until I find a new hobby. Like, my brain cannot focus on one thing long enough. Like, YouTube has, like, aside from the MLM, YouTube has been like the only thing that I have stuck to, a hobby, if you will, that I have enjoyed doing and just continued doing for longer than like 2 months. Congratulations, you guys.
Jumping from thing to thing. Man, release the bless and release. Listen, I had to do that with someone recently. I said, bye. Because if they're not willing to stick it out here, just like they weren't prior to coming to me, I should have seen the signs. Prior to coming to me, it's going to be the same thing.
She's so condescending. I should have saw the signs. Like, whoever that person is, if they're watching this, like, how condescending is that? Not only that, but earlier in this same live video, she's like, just because they're not playing the game the way that you want them to play it doesn't mean you can just let them go. But she just said that she did exactly that.
That's a them issue. That's not me. That's a them issue, okay? And so you've got to, like, be able to pause and assess what's really going on before we just start dragging dead bodies, before we classify someone as they're not serious. We're so quick to do that, and that is very bad leadership. That's very bad leadership, to quickly classify someone as they don't want it.
Who's gonna tell her that the majority of the things she does, in my book, would be considered bad leadership?
We really have to do some assessment. I also think it's important that you assess yourself. So let me flip this on y'all real quick and talk about how you need to assess yourself. Just to pop those little egos right there. Let's pop those, okay?
Baby girl, pop your own ego. Assess yourself. Are you serious? You lack so much self-awareness. Either that or you just know what you need to do and say to manipulate people. You're very self-aware, but you know what you need to say in order to manipulate people, so you do that.
Okay, we're going to pop those. Assess yourself. Are you showing up? Okay, so if we show up in our businesses, the majority of us, okay, it's the majority. Whether if you think that this doesn't apply to you, I'm specifically talking to you, Heffa.
You too, sister.
We show up, we're self-focused. We're focused on our goals, okay? And do you have irrational demands? When you recruit somebody, when you add someone to your team, when you get a new promoter, do you have these irrational demands? Do you have like, oh my gosh, you got to be in these chats and you got to show up to 500 Zooms and I'm going to tag you 37 times a day? That's overwhelming to someone, okay? And you're going to be quick to be like, well, they're not serious and they don't want it. And I'm not dragging dead bodies. Hold on, Betty. Hold on. Tagging Tina. Okay. Zoom and Zell. Hold on. Maybe you have irrational demands on your people. And that's fantastic that you lean in and you take this very serious. That's fantastic. But not everybody's on your level. And so not everyone can see it from your perspective.
Here I am sitting here trying to think of a name for her, since she says, like, I don't even remember what she said now. Something Tina, Zoom and Zell. I have come to the conclusion that her name is now Loud Linda. Thank you.
Are you leading from the front? If you really want to know if you should let someone go or not, a lot of times people pause their entire organization. How many of you, let's be dead honest, okay? Drop a 4 in the comments below if you've ever paused your business, meaning your enrollments, your recruiting, because you were so focused on managing and leading and taking care of the people underneath you. Drop a 4. I can proudly say, I don't think I've ever done this.
Of course you haven't, because you're perfect.
Duh.
I've always led from the front. In fact, I did the opposite. sometimes I can get too focused on bringing in new that there were seasons where I didn't tend to people as much as I could have and or should have, okay? So I would say I'm the opposite, but how many of you, and that could be really easy for I mean, it really can be any color. It's not even like a personality thing. But like you went more into like a management mode and so you stop moving forward. And that's really hard. When you get there, you almost believe in people so much and you believe in them and their vision and their why so much that you stop moving forward. That is very bad for business. It's bad for your business. It's bad for your team's business. It's bad for everybody, okay? You're actually hurting the people you have underneath you when you're not growing. And so when you assess that,
You might be a pyramid scheme if you're hurting the people underneath of you if you're not growing your team.
here's the deal. Your people, not dumb. Your team, not dumb. When you pause your business, when you slow down, and in fact, I've have people who are no longer part of my business. I had to remove them. They still work in the company, but I had to remove them from what I do. But their people stayed with me, and their people don't have respect for them because they're like,
I cannot stand this. I see this so much. People who are so self-centered and so narcissistic, not narcissistic, but definitely a narcissistic trait. When people want so badly for other people to dislike someone that they will state their opinion and then say like, oh, all these people agree with me. Like, do they? Like, they try to make it seem like other people feel this way because they want this validation. They want other people to think, yeah, all these other people feel the same exact way, when really probably no one does. It's so annoying. My old upline would gaslight me in this way so much. Like, oh my gosh, like, everybody at the corporate level hates her. They cannot stand her. Really? Because she's on stage every conference.
they don't do nothing. They don't shout themselves out. They don't enroll. They be shouting everybody else out but themselves. But only like once a month I see they get a customer. Every other month they get a distributor. Your team is not done. Your team will know if you're not working. They will know if you're not getting your minimum. They will know if you're not getting bonuses. They will know if you're not being promoted. They will know if you're not being shouted out. Your team will know. And the audacity that we have to expect our team to get it when we're not actively leading. Does that make sense? You drop a 5 below if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
And so it's really important that you understand that you're not just telling people what to do, because that can get really into management mode if we just get focused on telling people what to do. But we have an obligation and responsibility to show people the way, right? You have to show. So it's like, let me show the way and then give the advice. Show the way and then help you get to where I'm at, right? And so it's like it's a tandem thing. Have you taken time, instead of labeling, instead of caring more about someone than they care about themselves, or instead of releasing someone too soon, have you taken time to understand the different personalities of people that are underneath you? Okay, that's really important because, you know, if you're a really like hyper person and you're really emotional, but someone responds in 1-word answers, you might be offended by that, but that's how they operate. And if you're someone that can give a 1-word answer and that's sufficient for you, but you have someone that sends an 8-minute voice memo when it was only 30 seconds worth of content, but they're so hyped, they're excited, and they're telling you, you know, what color toenail polish they have on, you might hurt their feelings. And so it's just important as you're leading people and when you're assessing people, are people serious? Are they not serious? You really do have to take their personality colors, which is what I use, into consideration. Also, I think, have you created a space? Have you created community where people can lean in and it's not just action oriented? Now, I am an action oriented leader. I love action, okay? But it is important that you're creating a space for everybody. So I think a couple things that I want you to walk away with. Number one, you should always be recruiting and working. You should always be, Danielle, the thumbs up button. I know I can't stand that. You should always be recruiting. You should always be leading from the front. You should always be recruiting, period. Okay.
This is so telling. Like, how are you gonna say it's not a pyramid scheme when the number one thing that you should always be doing is recruiting? Hello, red flag.
Okay, good. I had to scroll up Shamita to make sure that was how I pronounced her name. You should always be leading from the front and always recruiting. When you pause your business, when you pause your growth, when you pause your chasing after your goals to take care of the people underneath you, whether you're quick to ditch them or you hold on too much, when you do that, the whole organization suffers. Okay, I have a whole another teaching on that, so we're not going to get into that, but you should always be moving forward regardless. Like, you should never be stand still, dead in the water. And if you're someone where someone's like, if I were to ask you, hey, did you reach your monthly goal? No, I've been really focused on helping my team. Unacceptable. That's not a good enough answer. And there's a couple different reasons. People use that as an excuse because they're lazy, or they use that as an excuse because they want their team to carry them across the finish line, which go back to lazy.
I had this toxic mindset the entire time I was in the MLM. And I would argue, like most of my entire life, I had this toxic mindset that if people weren't doing things to better themselves, or they weren't doing things, period, like they weren't working out, they weren't changing their diet, they weren't working hard, they weren't doing the things that it took to change their life for the better, that it was because they're lazy. That was my mindset, I would say, my entire life, okay? Until I got put in a situation, you guys know the situation I've been in for the last year, where depression, anxiety, chronic illness, everything under the sun kind of just took over my life, swooped me up and buried me into a dark hole. And no matter what I did, I could not physically get myself out of bed to do any of that stuff. I'm not kidding you. No matter how hard I tried, I could not. And so I started to empathize with the people who go through these things after believing my entire life that the only reason people don't follow through with bettering themselves is because they're lazy. I got slapped in the face real quick with a dose of reality. I was humbled real quick when humbled, guys, humbled. A year ago, I had a freaking 6-pack, okay? I have been humbled. And it's not because I'm lazy. I mean, I do feel lazy some days, but I'm not lazy. I'm a hard worker. But there are some things mentally, physically, emotionally that take over your life that require energy and physical capabilities that I just don't have sometimes, okay? So just felt like I needed to throw that in there. It may not be that they're lazy. There may be other components to it. There likely are other components to it.
Or they think that, these are only the people that are going to take me where I want to go. And that's not true. People come, people go. Amen. People come, people go. And if you want to always stay in control, you should always be moving your business forward. And then the second thing, I think that even when you have, even if you have a few people underneath you right now that aren't doing a lot, you have the capacity to leverage your next level with where you're at right now. So if you have 3 people underneath you and they're really not leaned in, they're not doing, you're I kind of been dragging them. They've been around for a while. And again, I'm not going to say dismiss anyone because you never know when someone can turn on. You always want to create a space for them, but you do need some people that are leaned in. You need at least one person underneath you that's caught the vision, that's serious, that shows up, right? And so I think that if you're in this position, the example I just gave where you have 3 people and they're not really leaned in, they're, they just kind of show up here. If you talk to them, they talk back, whatever, you can still market that you have a business and you have a team and you're leading, and you can use that as leverage. Let's think we're not being heartless, but we are going to use our heart less. We're going to put our heart on the shelf, and you're going to think like a business owner, and you're going to leverage those people to allow you to market with confidence and with posture that you have a team and that you're leading your team and you're showing up for your team and you're showing people what you're doing for them. And, I just had a meeting, I got my people on a training, and now other people are going to realize, oh my God, if she's helping her people, she's going to help me.
And you wonder why they're always posting team Zooms on their stories and such.
right? And so it's really important that as a business owner, you leverage everything underneath you. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, I can't market my business because I'm not paid as my lifetime, right? That's low functioning. We're not going to do that this year, okay? There is too much coming down the pipeline. I'm sure in y'all's business, in my business, there's too much coming down the pipeline. We got too much winning to this summer. We're going to finger licking good. That's how good we're eating this summer. And, you get to leverage every little piece underneath you to take you to your what's next. That's what a high functioning leader is going to do. They're going to leverage it. I'm going to love you. Listen, I'm going to love you at a 10. I will love you at a 10, but I'm going to match your energy. And if your energy's at a 7, I'm going to give you a 7. If your energy's at a 2, baby, I'm going to give you a 2. But I'm going to leverage this to help me go to my next level.
So I'm going to take advantage of everything that you're giving me, and the fact that you're in my downline, I'm going to use that to my advantage.
But if you don't want it, you're not getting my attention.
And that's what I've got. So listen, that's kind of some things that I do when it comes to deciding, are they really leaned in? Are they not leaned in? How do you know when to bless and release and let them on? Because listen, not everyone's going to be with you forever, and that is okay. All right? That is okay. We love people. I love people when they come, when they go. I want people to win in life, whether they're on my team or not. Like that truly is my heart and my mission. But there are some people that you need to release.
A little birdie on the street told me that this particular person, and I think I've mentioned this before, she was in this person's presence. I'm not going to say what they were doing because it might give away who said this. If Preacher's wife, Loud Linda, is watching this video, it may give away who said it. But they were doing an activity together, and Loud Linda said to her,
I hate seeing other people win. I have to be first. If I'm not first, I'm last.
So, do you really have a life's mission to see everyone win?
No, Loud Linda, you don't.
People, you need to stop being a jerk, and you need to stop giving up on them because you give up on them too quick. And I think that you have to create a space in your business where you go fishing for new fish that want it, but you got to give a space for the fish that...
There's a salesman here. This is my worst nightmare. I can't even close the blinds because I'm at the front door.
A few moments later.
It's so creepy to me that people can find out our names like anywhere. We have a security system through one company, and another company's security system company just came to my door and like called me by name to try to sell me their security system, and then called my husband by name when referencing our family. Odd.
I just want to be a part of that community, because whenever you do get that one person that wants to go all in, they can make a beautiful impact on the people that you already have. And I want everybody. I want people that want $100, just like I want people that want $100,000 a month. I want it all, okay? So create a space for that. But a lot of this has to do with you. So look in the mirror, grow your leadership. And like I said, if you found any value, make sure you share this. I'm going to draw for a free coaching call tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye, friends.
All right, that's going to wrap up this video. Let me know what you guys thought down below. If you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell if you'd like to be notified every time that I post. If you'd like to join my Facebook group called The Light at the End of the Pyramid on Facebook, my Facebook group would likely be on Facebook, but regardless. If you'd like to follow me on all social media platforms, you can find me at the Jessica Hickson. Also, I have lots of new merch linked down below if you'd like to check it out. Otherwise, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
Moving slower.